Long ago on a faraway planet named Varan, the people lived in fear. This planet was full of tall blue mountains, shining rivers, and great floating cities. But even with all their beauty and power, one thing haunted them. A terrible monster called the Red Beast. The Red Beast was huge. Its body was as big as a spaceship. It had thick red skin like hard stone. Fire came from its mouth. Claws like steel tore through buildings and walls. No one knew where it came from, but it had been there for many years. Each time it came, it left behind fire, smoke, and sadness. Crops were burned. Homes were crushed. Families lost loved ones. Varan's people tried many times to stop the beast. Brave warriors faced it. Giant machines fought it, but nothing worked. Every time the Red Beast walked away without a scratch. The people began to lose hope. They stayed in their homes. They stopped dreaming of Peace Queen Mara ruled over Varan. She was a tall and wise woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. Her people trusted her, but now they looked to her with worry. Even she had no answer. One day, she stood on the high tower in the middle of the capital city. Her voice echoed through the air as she spoke. To the people of Varan, I have watched many of our best fighters fall. I have seen cities break. I cannot let this go on. So today, I make a promise. Whoever defeats the Red Beast shall have my daughter's hand in marriage, and they will help lead our world to safety. Gasps filled the air. Many people were shocked. Others whispered, some smiled. Princess Rena, the queen's only child, stood beside her. Rena was calm. She wore a long blue robe and a silver crown. Her face showed no fear, but her eyes were quiet and strong. She said nothing as the queen's words spread through the planet. Warriors from all corners of Varan stepped forward. Some were tall fighters with bright armor. Some came with heavy laser guns. Some flew down from floating cities with golden wings. Each one hoped to be the one who killed the beast and married the princess. Each one believed they had what it took, but something strange happened. As the warriors showed off their weapons, a young man from the back of the crowd raised his hand. He was not from Varan. His skin was pale, his clothes simple, and his tools small. He was a human. His name was Tom had come to Varan many months ago as part of a peace team from Earth. He had no powers. He had no big weapons. He worked in the forests, helping to clean rivers and plant trees. Most people never noticed him. But now he stood tall, his voice clear. I will fight the Red Beast. Tom said. The crowd burst into laughter. Some pointed at him and joked. Others shook their heads. A small child said, he will be the first to run. But Queen Mara did not laugh. She looked at Tom with a serious face. She had seen many proud fighters. This one did not look proud. He looked ready. She asked him, why do you want to fight the beast human? You do not have the tools. You do not have the strength. You are not from this world, Tom answered. I don't do this for reward. I do it because I cannot stand by while people live in fear. I don't know everything about your world, but I know what it means to protect others. Princess Rena stepped closer. She looked at Tom with quiet eyes. You do not know me, she said. You do not need to do this for me. Tom looked back at her. This is not about marriage, he said. This is about what is right. The queen was silent for a moment. Then she raised her hand. If you are ready to face the trial, then you will go before the High Council. They will decide if you may take this path. Guards stepped forward and led Tom through the golden gates of the palace. The crowd whispered behind him. Some said he was foolish. Others said he was brave. One old man said, sometimes the ones with the smallest tools carry the biggest heart. Inside the palace, the halls were filled with light. Paintings of old battles hung on the walls. Statues of past kings and queens stood tall. Tom walked with calm steps. He had seen battle on Earth. He had faced danger before. But this was something greater. This was not just a fight. This was a test of spirit. As he reached the great hall of the High Council, Princess Rena followed behind. She watched him with quiet thoughts. In her heart, something had changed. She had seen many warriors, but this one was different. Tom entered the hall. The council waited inside. They were wise aliens with long robes and glowing eyes. They asked him many questions. They warned him of the danger. They showed him maps and drawings of the beast. Still, Tom did not turn away. Outside the hall, the people of Varan waited for the answer. The queen stood with her people. The skies were dark with clouds. A storm was coming. Not just in the sky, but in the days ahead. The trial had begun, and a human had stepped forward without fear. Inside the shining walls of the palace, Tom stood before the High Council. The chamber was round and large, with tall blue crystals glowing on every side. The floor was smooth like glass. The council sat high above on silver chairs, their long robes falling to the ground like water. Each one looked different, with strange heads, different skin, and wise eyes. They had lived for hundreds of years and had seen many battles. The leader of the council, Elder Naro, looked down at Tom. Elder Naro had green skin and a long white beard. His voice was deep but calm. "You are not of this world," Naro said. "You are human. You came from Earth as a helper. And now you say you want to face the red beast. Why?" Tom answered without fear. "Because the beast brings pain. Because I know what fear looks like, and I do not want to see more of it. If I can help, then I must try." The council members spoke in low voices. They were unsure. Many strong fighters had already died facing the beast. How could a human survive? Another council member, Elder Vessa, spoke. Her voice was sharp. "You carry no strong weapon. You wear no armor. You have no wings to fly and no shield to protect your body. This beast does not fall with hope and courage. It crushes everything. You may not come back alive." Tom stood tall. "I understand. But I will go. I do not need to be the strongest. I only need to think clearly and act with care." Elder Naro raised his hand, and the room became quiet. "Very well," he said. "You may go. But you will not go alone. We will send scouts with you. They will guide you to the Red Forest. That is where the beast sleeps during the dark season. It is the only place where it may be caught before it moves again." Tom bowed. "Thank you. I will not fail your trust." As he turned to leave the chamber, Princess Rena stepped forward. She had been standing in the back, listening to everything. She wore a soft silver dress and a short sword at her side. She walked toward Tom. "You speak with honor," she said. "But this journey is not like anything you know. Varan is full of dangers that humans have never seen." Tom looked into her eyes. "I believe you. I do not take this lightly. I came to your world to learn and to help. Now is the time to do both." Rena paused for a moment. Then she gave a small nod. "I hope you return." Outside the palace, a team was waiting for Tom. They were scouts of the Sky Guard, trained in tracking and survival. There were 4 of them. The leader was a tall alien named Brock. He had dark skin like stone and eyes that shone like gold. He did not smile. "You follow us, human," Brock said. "Do as we say. If we tell you to run, you run. Do not be a fool." Tom nodded. "I will follow your lead." Another scout was named Mila. She was smaller and moved like wind. Her eyes were quiet and her voice was soft. She did not speak much, but she looked at Tom with curious eyes. The others, Rel and Koro, checked their weapons and packs. Each scout carried laser bows, shock ropes, and fire bottles. Before they left, Queen Mara met them at the city gate. The sky above was red with sunset. The queen walked to Tom and gave him a small round badge. "This badge carries the seal of my house," she said. "If you return, wear it with pride. If you fall, let others know you stood for Vararan. Tom took the badge and placed it inside his coat. I will carry it with honor. The group moved quickly, walking through forests and rocky paths. The land outside the city was quiet and wild. Strange creatures watched from the trees. At night, the stars of Varan glowed bright, lighting the sky with blue and green light. Tom walked with steady feet. He listened more than he spoke. The scouts tested him. They made him cross rivers, climb steep hills, and move through thick fog. Each time he stayed calm and followed orders. Even Brock began to nod with approval. After 3 days, they reached a high ridge. Below it stretched the red forest. The trees were tall and red like fire. The ground was dry and the wind carried the smell of ash. Somewhere inside that forest, the red beast waited. Brock looked down into the trees. This is the edge of the beast's land. It does not leave this place until the fire season ends. We wait here until we find signs. Mila stepped beside Tom. Are you afraid? Tom looked at the trees, then at her. Yes, but I will not let fear stop me. She gave a small smile. Good, that is the right fear. The kind that keeps you sharp. They set camp near the ridge. Brock placed sound traps. Rel took the first watch. Tom helped build a fire, using dry leaves and broken sticks. As the fire burned, Mila sat beside him. You are different from what I thought, she said. Most humans talk too much. They show off. You do not. Tom chuckled. I learned to be quiet when I was young. In the forest, noise brings trouble. Sometimes even death, she nodded. Same here. That night, Tom lay on the hard ground, looking up at the strange stars. He held the Queen's badge in his hand. He thought of Earth. He thought of Rena. He thought of the beast waiting in the trees. He did not know what would come next. But he knew he would not run, not now. Not ever. The sun rose slowly over the red forest. Its light touched the tall trees, turning their leaves into a sea of fire-colored red. The wind moved between the branches, making soft but strange sounds. It was not a normal forest. The air felt heavy. The ground was dry and cracked. The birds here did not sing. The animals did not show their faces. Only silence and fear lived in this place. Tom stood at the edge of the forest with the 4 scouts. Each one was quiet. Even Brock, who usually spoke with strong words, looked serious. Mila checked her scanner. It showed movement deep inside the forest. She looked at Tom. We enter now. Stay close. Do not wander. If we tell you to run, you run. Tom gave a short nod. He was ready. They stepped into the red forest. The trees were tall and packed tightly. Their bark was hard like stone. Some leaves had sharp edges. Strange vines hung down like ropes. The ground was uneven and covered in red dust. Brock walked in front. Rel and Koro followed behind. Mila stayed close to Tom, watching his steps. The forest was full of shadows. The deeper they went, the darker it became. Sunlight could barely pass through the leaves. After 1 hour of walking, they found the first sign. A broken tree. It was not just snapped. It was crushed flat, as if something huge had stepped on it. The bark was burned. The ground around it was black. Brock kneeled and touched the soil. Fresh, this was today. The beast passed here in the early morning. Tom looked at the damage. How can something that big move without making sound? Mila answered. The beast moves when it wants to be seen. When it hunts, it becomes silent. Like a shadow with fire in its chest, they moved again. Each step was slower. The team stopped often to check signs. Scratched rocks, burned plants, bones. Some bones were large, like those of wild animals. Others were smaller. Some still had bits of cloth. Tom looked at one broken helmet lying in the dust. It had a crack through the middle. He knew someone had died here. A warrior who had tried and failed. He picked up the helmet and placed it under a tree. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then he stood and kept walking. By evening, they reached a wide open space in the forest. It was a broken field full of old battle marks, burned holes, crushed metal, deep cuts in the dirt. This is where the last group made their stand, Brack said. They came with machines and fire tanks. All were destroyed. Tom looked around. Where are the machines? Gone, Mila answered. The beast dragged them away. No one knows why. Some say it learns from them. Others think it eats metal. Like food, they made camp near the edge of the field. No one spoke much. Everyone worked fast. Rel placed shock mines around the camp. Koro climbed a tree to keep watch. Mila boiled plant roots for tea. Brack cleaned his fire spear. Tom gathered dry wood and made a low fire. The light from the flames danced across their faces. He sat beside Mila. You've been here before, he said. Mila nodded. Once, my brother came to fight the beast. I came with him. He did not return. I did. Tom looked at her with respect. I'm sorry, I am not, she said. He made his choice. I make mine now. They sat in silence for a while. Then Tom looked toward the trees. Do you think it watches us? Mila did not answer at first. Then she said, yes, the beast is always watching. It knows we are here. Koro called from above. Movement, east side. 30 steps away. Everyone stood quickly. Brack grabbed his spear. Rel readied his bow. Mila scanned the area. Tom picked up his steel rod and crouched low. Something moved in the shadows. A deep, heavy breath. Then silence again. They waited for minutes, but nothing came. Only the wind moved. Not now, Brack said. It is testing us, playing its game. That night, no one slept well. The fire burned low. Strange sounds came from the trees. Cracks, huffs, distant growls. Tom sat with his back to a rock, eyes wide open. He did not blink much. He kept his hand on his rod. He thought about Earth. He thought about the forests back home. They were loud with birds, full of green life. But this forest was quiet, a place of waiting, a place of death. In the middle of the night, the ground shook for a moment. A low rumble. Then it stopped. Tom whispered to Mila, was that it? Mila nodded. It sleeps close. Very close. When the sun returned, the team did not waste time. They packed fast and moved forward. The signs were clearer now. Trees were broken. The air smelled like smoke. There were claw marks on the rocks. Koro found a large print in the dirt, bigger than a car, deep and sharp. The beast had passed through only hours before. We find it by sunset, Brack said. No talking unless needed. Tom checked his fire launcher. It was small, only good for one shot. He knew it would not kill the beast, but maybe it would slow it down. His rod was strong, made of earth steel. It had helped him before against wild animals. He hoped it would help again. As they moved deeper into the forest, the trees became twisted. The ground was black and full of holes. Mila whispered, this is its nest. It sleeps here. It waits here. Brack raised his hand. We stop here. No more forward until we plan. The beast is near. One wrong step and it comes. Tom looked around. His heart beat faster. His breath was steady, but his body felt heavy. This was it. The moment was near. Somewhere in the dark trees, the red beast waited, and Tom was ready to face it. The air was still. Not a single leaf moved. The red forest was quiet, too quiet. The scouts stood close together, eyes watching every corner. Even the smallest sound made them turn. A single mistake could bring death. Brack raised his hand. No. Talking. It is near. Tom crouched behind a tree with his steel rod in hand. His fire launcher was on his side, ready for use. His eyes moved from tree to tree. The wind had stopped. The sky above was dark even though it was still morning. The light could not pass through the thick red leaves. Rel placed a sensor on the ground. It blinked once, then turned red. Movement. South side. Heavy steps. Big weight. Everyone took position. Brock pointed to the right. Koro, move wide. Mila, stay with the human. Rel, stay near me. We strike only when we see it clearly. No rush. Tom's heart was loud in his chest. Still, he kept calm. He had faced danger before, but never like this. This was not just a beast. It was something greater, something that broke the rules of nature suddenly. A deep growl came from the forest. It was low, like thunder rolling across the ground. The sound touched the bones. Then silence again. Tom whispered, "It knows we are here." Mila nodded. Slowly. Her eyes did not blink. It always knows. Branches snapped in the distance. Something huge moved between the trees. Leaves shook and fell. A red glow flashed behind the trunks. Then the beast stepped into view. It was larger than anything Tom had ever seen. Its skin was dark red, like hot metal. Thick armor plates covered its body. Its head was wide with long horns pointing backward. Its mouth opened, and heat poured out like smoke from fire. Two glowing blue eyes locked on them. The red beast roared. The sound hit like a wave. Birds flew from the trees. The ground shook. Tom dropped to one knee but kept his eyes forward. Brock shouted, "Spread out. Hit and move." Rel fired his shock bow. The arrow hit the beast's leg, sending sparks into the air. It roared again, not in pain but in anger. It charged forward, smashing trees as if they were paper. Koro jumped from the side and threw a fire bottle. It broke on the beast's back, flames bursting across its skin. The beast turned fast and swung its tail. Koro flew through the air and hit a rock. He did not move. Mila pulled Tom back. "Stay low. Wait for your chance." Tom watched as Brock tried to stab the beast with his spear. The spear hit the neck, but the skin was too thick. The beast swiped with its claw. Brock rolled to the side, saving himself by a second. Tom saw the pattern. The beast was strong, but its movements were wide and slow. It had power, but it could be outsmarted. "Eyes," Tom whispered. "The eyes are not protected." Mila looked at him. "Then aim for them." Tom nodded. He moved around the trees, looking for a better angle. The fire launcher was in his hand now. He waited as the beast turned toward Rel. Rel threw a shock rope, but it missed. The beast opened its mouth and sent a stream of fire at the trees. Flames spread quickly. Smoke filled the air. Tom coughed and covered his face. He moved fast, using the smoke to hide. He got closer. Now he was behind the beast. He saw the glowing blue eyes from the side. He aimed. The launcher locked. He took a deep breath and fired. The fire blast flew straight into the beast's left eye. The impact was loud. The beast roared with real pain. This time, it shook its head wildly. One eye was now blind. Blue liquid dripped from the wound. The others saw the hit. Mila shouted, "It's hurt. Keep pressure." Brock charged with his spear again, aiming for the other eye. The beast was angry and wild. It swung its arms and tail in every direction. Trees fell. The ground cracked. Tom grabbed a long branch and wrapped one of Rel's shock ropes around it. He lit the end with fire and ran to the front. The beast saw him with its one good eye and roared again. Tom jumped to the side and threw the burning rope at its face. The fire flashed near its other eye. The beast turned its head, giving Brock the moment he needed. Brock's spear went deep into the eye. The beast screamed louder than ever before. It stepped back, hitting trees and rocks, shaking the forest with every move. Rel threw two more fire bottles. Mila fired her last shock arrow. All hit the beast's chest. It fell backward, crushing more trees. The ground shook once more and then became still. The beast was not dead, but it was down. Smoke rose into the sky. The air smelled of burnt wood and heat. Tom stood still, breathing hard. His face was dirty. His hands shook. But he was standing. Brock walked to the beast's head. "It still breathes. We finish it tomorrow. For now we leave. The smoke will call other creatures." Mila helped Tom sit. You were fast. You hit the eye with one shot. Not many can do that, Tom nodded. It was not luck. I watched. I waited. That is how you hunt something stronger than you. Brock looked at him with new eyes. You fight with mind, not just hands. That is rare. They tied the beast's legs with shock ropes. Its breath was slow now. It would not rise for some time. The team moved back to camp. They were tired, but alive. The red beast was hurt. For the first time in many years, it had fallen, and the one who gave the first real wound was a human named Tom. Morning came slowly to the red forest. The sky above was gray, and smoke still floated in the air. Ash lay on the trees. The smell of burned wood and hot blood filled the space. The red beast was still down. Its body was tied with strong shock ropes. The ropes blinked with red lights and sent small electric waves through its skin. Its head lay between two broken trees. Its left eye was shut tight from the fire blast. The other eye was gone. The team stood around the wounded beast. Brock held his spear tight. Rel kept his bow aimed. Mila checked the ropes every minute. Tom stood a few steps back, watching the beast's chest rise and fall. It is weak, Rel said. We should finish it now. No, Brock replied. Look at it. It is thinking, planning. It is not just a wild animal. It is something more. We must be smart. Tom stepped forward. Let me try something. Give me a little time alone with it. The team looked at him in silence. Even Mila looked unsure. You want to talk to it? Rel asked. It cannot speak. It only kills. Tom shook his head. I know, but I believe it understands more than we think. I want to see its reaction. I will not go too close. Brock gave a slow nod. 5 minutes. No more. Tom walked to the beast, stopping a few feet from its head. He crouched down and looked into the beast's face. Its skin was thick, but he could see small veins under it. It blinked slowly. Its chest rose and fell with deep breaths. Blue liquid still leaked from the wound on the left side. You've been hurt before, haven't you? Tom said softly. That's why you hide here. That's why you attack. You. We're not always this way. The beast growled low, but it did not move. It looked at him with its one eye. Tom continued. I'm not your enemy. But I had to fight because you gave me no choice. You destroy homes. You burn fields. You make people live in fear. Why? The beast made a strange sound. It was not a roar. It was softer, like a low cry. Its claws moved a little, but the ropes held firm. Tom saw something in its eye, not just anger. There was pain. Deep pain. He stood up and walked back to the team. It remembers something, Tom said. It has feelings. It's not just a beast. I think someone made it this way. Mila looked surprised. Made it? Tom nodded. Its body is too perfect. Its skin too hard. Its fire too strong. This thing was built, changed, or trained. Someone turned it into a weapon. Now it does not know anything else. Brock looked at the beast again. Then we do not just fight muscle. We fight memory. That is harder. Tom spoke again. We cannot fight this with only weapons. We need to trick it. Use its mind against it. Brock smiled slightly. You have a plan, human? Tom pointed to the ridge above the forest. There's a sharp valley there, full of deep cracks and spike rocks. If we can get it to chase me, I can lead it there. Make it fall. Let the land do what fire and arrows cannot. Rel frowned. It will not follow you. It knows you are a threat now, Tom answered. That's why I will pretend to be weak. I will act hurt. It will think I'm easy prey. It will come for me. Brock thought for a moment, then nodded. We set the trap. We move before sunset. Mila, help him prepare. Rel and I will clear the path. The team got to work. They broke camp. They placed markers on trees to guide Tom. Mila gave Tom a small flash bomb and a backup signal light. If you fall, she said, send the light. "We will come," Tom smiled. "Let's hope I don't fall." As the sun began to drop, they cut one of the shock ropes. The beast moved at once. It stood up slowly, growling in pain. The fire inside it was weaker now, but still dangerous. It looked at Tom and roared. Tom backed away slowly, pretending to limp. He dropped his steel rod and acted tired. The beast watched him. It sniffed the air. Then it started to walk forward. Tom turned and ran. He moved between trees, following the path marked with yellow rope. The beast crashed behind him, slower than before, but still deadly. It burned bushes and crushed rocks. Tom ran as fast as he could. His heart pounded, his legs burned, his breath came short. But he kept going. The ridge was close. He could see the dark edge ahead. One wrong step and he would fall. He reached the edge and jumped to the side, sliding behind a tall rock. The beast charged. It did not see the trap until it was too late. Its heavy foot hit loose ground. The edge broke. The beast roared as the land gave way beneath it. It fell into the valley, crashing onto sharp rocks below. Dust rose into the sky. The ground shook once more. Then all became still. Brock, Mila, and Rel ran to the edge. They looked down. The beast lay in the valley. Its body did not move. Tom stood, slowly, breathing hard. "Is it over?" Brock looked for a long moment. Then he nodded. "It is done." "You brought it down." Mila smiled and placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. "You used your head, not just your hands." "That is true strength." Tom looked at the valley. "I didn't want to kill it, but I had to stop it." Brock spoke with respect. "You saved Varen, and you did it your way." They turned and began the walk back to the city. The red beast was gone, but the story of the human who faced it was just beginning. The sun rose behind the mountains of Varen as Tom and the scout team walked through the open land. The red forest was far behind them now. Smoke no longer filled the sky. The wind was fresh, and the ground was no longer shaking. The red beast was gone. Tom walked beside Mila, his steps slow but steady. His body ached, but his heart was calm. Brock and Rel led the way, quiet and focused. None of them spoke for a long time. They did not need to. Each one had seen something powerful. Each one knew the meaning of what they had done. A flying message drone met them near the river. It hovered in front of Brock and played a voice message from Queen Mara. "Return to the city with honor. The people wait. Varen is ready to welcome its protectors." Brock looked at Tom. "You hear that? She means you." Tom gave a small smile. "She means all of us. We did this together." The drone flew ahead to carry the message home. As they neared the city, people began to gather on the roads. Word had already spread. A human had helped bring down the red beast. Farmers, workers, students, elders, they all lined the path. Some waved, some cried. Children ran beside them with wide eyes and happy faces. Mila whispered, "They thought it would never end. They thought the beast would rule the land forever. But you gave them hope." Tom kept his eyes forward. "Hope belongs to everyone, not just me." When they reached the gates of the capital, the doors opened wide. Horns played music from the towers. Banners flew in the wind. The city had not celebrated like this in many years. Queen Mara stood at the top of the steps, wearing her royal robe and silver crown. Princess Rena stood beside her in a long white dress, her hands folded in front of her. Her face was calm, but her eyes were bright. She watched Tom closely. As Tom walked up the steps, the people became quiet. The music stopped. All eyes were on him. Queen Mara raised her hand and spoke with a voice that reached every corner of the city. "People of Varen, for years we lived in fear. For years we saw fire and loss. Many brave fighters gave their lives. We honor them all. Today, we also honor the team who returned. 4 scouts, strong and wise, and 1 human who walked with them. A human who came, not for reward, but to help." She looked at Tom. He faced the beast with courage. He used not only skill, but also thought. He showed what true strength means. And as promised, the hand of Princess Rena shall be offered to the one who ended the terror of the beast. Tom of Earth, step forward. Tom stood still for a moment. He looked at the queen, then at Rena. He stepped forward and bowed his head. I am honored. But I did not do this to win a princess. I did this because it was the right thing to do. Rena walked down 2 steps and stood in front of him. You did not come for reward. That is why you deserve one. But the choice is mine too. So let me ask you, not as a prize but as a person, will you stay? Will you walk beside me as an equal? Tom looked into her eyes. She was strong, kind, and wise. Not just a princess, a leader. He nodded. If we walk side by side, not in front or behind, then yes, I will stay, the queen smiled. The people cheered. Flowers were thrown from the rooftops. Bells rang across the city. A great feast was held that night. The city was filled with music and lights. Long tables were placed in the open square. People danced, sang songs, and told stories of what had happened. Children ran around with toy beasts made of cloth, pretending to fight like Tom. Tom sat at a table with Mila, Brock, Rel, and Koro, who had recovered from his wounds. They laughed and shared food. For the first time in a long while, they felt peace. Brock raised a glass. To the human who saw with clear eyes, fought with smart hands, and stayed with a good heart. Everyone lifted their glasses. To Tom, later in the evening, Tom stepped away from the crowd. He walked to the edge of the garden behind the palace. The sky above was full of stars. The air was cool and soft. Princess Rena joined him. She stood beside him in silence. You changed something here, she said at last. I only helped remove the fear, Tom replied. No, she said. You reminded us that even without wings or fire, one person can stand tall. Even when afraid, they can act with courage. Tom looked at her. And what will you do now? I will lead, she said, but not with old rules. We will build. Again, we will train protectors who think before they strike. We will share knowledge with other worlds. That is what peace needs, Tom smiled. I like that plan, she turned to him. And you? I will help. I will learn. And maybe I will plant trees again too, she laughed softly. Then it begins. They stood together under the stars. 2 different worlds now walking as one. The red beast had fallen, but its end was not just a victory of power. It was a victory of mind, of heart, of a human who came not to take but to give. And now, Varen had a new future to build. The days after the victory were filled with hope. Varen's skies were clear. The fires had stopped. The people returned to their homes. For the first time in many years, laughter filled the air. Children played in the streets. Farmers planted seeds in the fields. The city was alive again. Tom worked beside the people. He helped rebuild homes. He planted trees near the rivers. He learned the language of Varen better each day. The people began to trust him not only as a hero, but as a friend. Princess Rena and Tom met often. Together, they planned new ways to protect their world. They created schools where young warriors learned both strength and wisdom. They invited teachers from other planets to share knowledge. They built hospitals to care for the wounded. They opened markets where people from different places could meet and trade. One morning, Tom stood on a hill overlooking the city. The sun was warm on his face. He watched the people below. They worked together. They smiled. They dreamed again. Rena came to stand beside him. She looked at the city with pride. You helped change this world, Tom. More than you know, Tom smiled. You changed it too. You gave the people hope. You showed them that even after darkness, the light can return. Rena turned to him. Will you stay with us? Not just as a leader, but as someone who belongs here? Tom looked at the sky. He thought about Earth, his home. He thought about the long journey that had brought him here. Then he looked at Rena. Her eyes were kind. And her smile was true. Yes, he said simply. "I will stay," the queen gave her blessing. The people accepted Tom as part of their world. A great celebration was held. Music filled the air. Stories of courage were told again and again. But now they were stories of more than just battle. They were stories of friendship, courage, and change. The days became years. Tom and Rena worked side by side. They built a new Varen, a place where fear no longer ruled, a place where people looked to the future with hope. The red beast was never forgotten. It was a lesson, a reminder of what happens when fear grows too large. But more important was the lesson of Tom's courage. A simple human who stepped forward. Without fear, other worlds heard the story. They sent visitors and friends. They brought new ideas and new hopes. Varen became a center of peace and learning. A place where different races came to share and grow. Tom often stood on the same hill where he had watched the city years ago. The sun was warm on his face. He thought about the past, the journey, and the friends he had made. He thought about Rena and the new family he had found. He smiled. The future was bright, and it belonged to everyone who dared to stand without fear.